Hi, everybody. It's day 2 of the candles, and our guest tonight is Andrea from Lilac Lantern.
Hi.
And we're going to start like we usually do. We're going to start by lighting the candles and listening to the meditation. And that's Dorothy Morgan's candle. We always start with Dorothy. And what we're going to do is, by the act of lighting these candles, serve as a metaphorical beacon, guiding our spirits to the new level of existence, fostering deeper connection with the universe. Let's see if I can do this time. Here's how I'm doing this. There you go. Okay. And the blue light special upgrade signifies a transformative experience where our spirits become the catalyst in the strengthening of universal connections. During this ritual, we can focus our intentions on personal growth, spiritual enlightenment, aligning our energies with natural rhythms of the planets. It's a time for introspection, envisioning our desired future, and seeking harmony with the world around you. A time to celebrate the growth and balance of the collective. By embracing this ritual, we acknowledge our interconnectedness to all of life on Earth and channeling that awareness to elevate our own spiritual journeys. It's a beautiful way to celebrate and embrace the cyclical nature of existence while seeking personal and collective growth. And I always have a stone in the center, a crystal, and this is angelite, and it's a very light powder blue. And the light I have it under doesn't show it well, but it is angelite, and it is a wonderful, warm, glowy, soft crystal. And now we're going to go back to the two of us together, and Miss Andrea is going to discuss her point of view on this. This is a response to the collective blue light that came in November. The first Saturday, the third Saturday, and the fourth Saturday, and hit. You were just near it. It hit in the Hopi tribal grounds. It hit the three pyramids, but they're actually mesas. And a lot of people are feeling a whole lot of energy shifting. Some people are feeling not all that much energy shifting. So we want to know how you see it in the wonderful world of Canada.
Well, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
I wore blue for your show.
Very
Just
nice.
So a lot of people were talking about this blue light stuff, and I didn't really know too much about it, hadn't looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of finding out sort of after it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that I was in Utah in Bryce Canyon. I think that's when it was happening.
The first weekend in this month. I mean, November.
It was the end of October.
No, you were missed it by a week.
Darn it.
It's coming towards you. It's coming to get you.
But I will tell you, the energy there in Bryce Canyon was amazing. In fact, Utah has a very interesting vibration. But the more I'm learning about the blue, I think it's representing, and it really resonated with me on the list that you sent, number 2 and number 6. Do you want to read those?
Yeah, sure. Number 2, I sent 6 points. One was lighting the candles. The second point that Andrea liked was guidance of spirit to the next chapter. This phase suggests a transition or passage from one state of being or consciousness to another. It impels growth, evolution, readiness to embrace what comes next. Point 3 was the 9 days of illumination, because we're coming up to the solstice, which is kind of the universal seasonal change. Then the 4th point was Gaia's pattern of balance. And then the 5th point was envisioning the grace of the blue light as an upgrade. And then you liked the point 6, the sparks of blue ignite universal connectiveness. Finally, the line suggests that our individual spirits, symbolized by sparks of blue light, have the power to connect with something larger than ourselves. It's an invitation to feel our place in the universe and recognize the interconnectedness of all things.
Yes.
Yes. Those are the things she says.
So that's what I feel is sort of happening now. This blue light is bringing us up to our next level, bringing us together. Now, it's not going to be everybody. It's going to be those who are in a positive frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not there, you're not there, right?
And if you're not there and you're not there, my understanding is if you really have psychic powers and the universe says, guess what? You're going to use them now, whether you like it or not. If you've been hiding in the closet with your psychic powers, Dr. Gale's interpretation is the blue Lyrans are going to come kick the door in.
Yeah.
Drag you out and make you. And I've been reading for a long, long time. And for years, I would, every once in a while I see somebody who's having a psychic breakthrough and they're becoming sensitive. I worked a Halloween party and in October, and I read about 55 people, and well over half of them were having that kind of breakthrough. And
yeah, so if it's been dormant or you've been ignoring it, it's gonna come to the surface. If you have it, you've embraced it, you already know what you have, I think it's gonna get stronger.
mm-hmm.
It's all part of us, like I said, moving into our next level. And that next level is also about us coming together and understanding each other, understanding more of the universe, of our solar system, all of these things, and understanding, more of the creator, the divine, like existence. So that's a huge jump from 9 to 5, rush hour, drinking
Mm-hmm.
coffee,
Yeah,
watching TV. That's a big jump. Like, it's going to be a big jump. And it's exciting. I think it's fantastic. It's all for the greater good. It's all positive.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling is go with it. Don't fight it.
Yeah.
Enjoy every step of this, even if we don't understand it, right? Because I don't understand everything. We're all learning, right? Same with you. Like, we're just, so embrace every step of this blue phase. And I pulled a card. I wanted to use a blue deck. So Angels of Atlantis was the deck I used.
That's
and
cool.
Look at the card I picked is evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally. So
that's where we are.
That's where we are. And the yellow and the orange, yellow is sort of an action, right? Orange is how we feel. So how we feel is going to change. It's going to move. How we, I think a lot of people are going to get telepathy. I think we're just going to know, like, most people who are psychic can already kind of read people and know what's the truth and what isn't. I think more people are going to get like that, and lies and deceit and all that kind of stuff will come to the surface easier because everyone's going to see it.
Yeah, and that's going to make it harder for you to do it if that's your game, and
That's
you're going to
right.
get called on it more, and you're going to begin to understand what you're really doing, that you're not getting away with something.
Right. And we're all going to be moving up to this greater understanding, and we're all at different levels. Some people are in kindergarten, some people are graduated university, right? So we have to be patient with those who maybe aren't as high or evolved or understand, but help them. Right? So just patience and enjoy every step. This is uncharted waters, so to speak, this time. I don't think this time has happened before.
No.
Human evolution. So we're really here at an exciting time.
Well, and it's odd that you picked evolution, because what some of the people who have been looking at this blue light phenomenon and it coming down on the earth, I saw it before it came when I was watching the solar eclipse, and I had on my super dark glasses, and we didn't have the complete ring of fire. We got really close here, and I was watching it. All of a sudden I saw this blue net wafting down towards the earth, and I thought, oh, my eyes are doing that because they don't like being in the dark. So I looked down, took the glasses off, looked at the glasses in the stone cold dark, looking at the earth, and it wasn't there. As soon as I looked up, I saw them again.
Wow.
And then I saw red translucent energy points coming through it. So I went, something's humming. And then I started hearing more and more about it. But one of the things that they've identified, and it's we talked about ley lines and stuff before. They're plugging into the energy web that is the earth, and they're putting in an energy that is actually going to change our DNA. So when you picked evolution, you're not kidding.
I know. I looked at that card. I was like, oh.
And that's also your sacral chakra. Those colors. And so it's going to hit that point where you've thought of a great idea and you're making it, you're creating it. It's becoming a new thing.
I feel like we're really going to become alive. We're going to be more of our full potential during this phase. What do they say? We only use like 10% of our brain.
We only use and a tiny,
and some of us less.
Yes. Well, there's a bunch of people that put red hats on just to make sure you know who they are. But the other thing is that you, when you're going through these kinds of genetic changes, remember we did the show on frequencies and what does it mean to ascend? And I found that weird article by the cancer researchers who were finding people's DNA changing, but not in the way they were setting them to. And they couldn't figure out what it was. And one of the researchers, the cancer researchers, had a partner or husband, a wife or something that was an astrophysicist. And they said, when did you start noticing the phenomenal change? And it's when our universe had switched out of this protective place we'd had in the universe where photonic energy was restricted from coming to the earth. We were protected by it. All of a sudden, we were getting bombed with photonic energy. And the astrophysicists were saying, wonder what this is going to do to us. And they started to see it. So this is another whole wave of that kind of energy coming down and actually helping us reorganize. Because there's a lot of our DNA that they call junk DNA. They don't know what it does. So
we've got junk DNA and we have a lot of our brain that we don't understand. So those are two very important things. And I feel like perhaps this blue light is going to shed a lot of information.
And it's going to spread it on the ley lines. It's going to use the power of energies. It's going to shift all of Gaia. So it's not just us. It's the plants, the animals. It's getting them ready for if we keep trying to burn up the earth.
Look at that. That looks like a plant also, or a planet, I should say, evolving as well. Not just the people, but the whole.
It is. It's the whole planet.
The whole, our whole understanding of planet Earth. We're going to learn a lot more.
And we're going to have a lot more guides to come and help us if we open up to them. And the other thing I got was a lot more of the elemental energy that's been locked in the earth is going to come out. And my dragon Cecil said, beware, it's going to be the dragons first. And
so negative?
No. You know why you think that? Because you're from the same bloodline I am, Celtic. Our dragons were not always positive, but in China, the dragons are
very positive
and negative. And in the Himalayas, they actually build their temples so that the dragons can fly through the roof. They have big windows at the top so they can go through because they think they bring good energy. So look for the dragons that bring you good energy.
Wow. Yeah. That is like, to me, that's sort of what we all need to do. We all need to get positive and then harmonize with each other in that positive frequency. I think that's also part of the blue phase that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
Where we all kind of mesh in together as positive.
And it's also blue as communication. It's the throat chakra.
Throat chakra. Yeah.
And it's going to help you with, and the world's going to be communicating more easily with you, and you're going to be able to communicate more easily with the world, providing you work with your whole heart, not just the part that we decide we're going to share and screw the rest of it. But really opening our whole heart up and trying to really listen to people, really communicate with them, because even the people that I think are effing nuts, politically and in other ways, just imagine what we sound like to them. But, and that's what you have to do. You have to say, how can we communicate this so that we can get our best messages to each other?
Yes. Speaking our truth, right? Speak your truth. Whoever you are, speak your truth.
That's right.
And And I feel there's going to be, in that blue light of truth, a lot of, like we said, a lot of negative things will be discovered. It won't be pleasant to see and realize a lot of things that maybe we didn't understand right in our face.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all about our evolution. So if we're gonna clean things up, we have to face the dirty work first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And face it in ourselves, because you can't speak from your whole heart if you're saying, well, the only way people can really communicate is if they say everything I say.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'd have very few people to talk to.
Yeah, you might as well just look in a mirror, right, and talk to yourself.
Oh no, that I found her extremely distressing. But be creative and don't be afraid of it. And we're going to have some sleepless nights of this. We're going to have some 4 hours as a good night's sleep from this as things emerge.
But remember, we're all in it together. The positive beings are going to attract each other, and together we're strong. So ride the wave.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ride the wave.
That's what we were in the last night.
That was in the last one.
Yeah, we were all on our little canoe rolling for that shore we weren't sure was there, but we felt
now I think we're on top of a big wave, like
yes,
in Hawaii when they're surfing, right?
Or we're crashing into California, so Danny better watch out.
Hey, Danny. So yeah, a big time coming. Already started, and just hang on. Enjoy. Think of a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend you're on a roller coaster, and there's the fun parts and a little bit of the scary parts, but you're in it with everyone, and we're supposed to have fun, right?
And the other thing is, if you're not feeling much of anything, one of the messages we got is it hits you at the time you can accept it. So don't feel like, well, I don't feel anything. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. I talked to an extremely sensitive woman, and she's like so far beyond us that, the blue light was already kind of in her. She's waiting for more of it to swell. And the more that we each acknowledge how we're part of that, the greater that community becomes, and the more we reach the level she's at.
That's when we speak our truth, we share, we learn from each other, and we all get up the ascension ladder together.
And we're going into a period of time. I had Dorothy yesterday, the first candles, and I'm going to wrap them up with Andre Carr, which ought to be fun. And what they're all, with all the readers, if you, and I know people, you talk astrology and their eyes cross and their head rolls over and they don't want to hear about a sextile, but you don't have to hear about a sextile to know that major outside planets, any planet beyond Saturn, if you remember your little rhyme to get out to the outer planets, when the outer planets move, they stay in signs forever. So they set a whole couple generational patterns. And the Pluto, where Pluto's about to move into Aquarius, it's been in Capricorn 248 years.
Wow.
And so a lot of these, so depending on how tied you are to your outer planet energy, or if you work totally on it, and it's perfectly fine whichever one you do, but we are going through generational shift, and then Jupiter's been moving through some stuff. Saturn's been racing right along and leading them in, and then Neptune is also going to be making some big changes. So, when you have that much generational power coming at you, and you can look back, they can historically look back at times when this has happened, except now they can't find any time when all of these move so close to each other and in time.
That's why I say I think we're in a new time. We're in not experienced before.
Well, we went out of being earthbound, which we'd been for 200 years, because Jupiter and Saturn started meeting in air, and that was in December of 2021, I think. And I tell people about this, and they'd go, well, what's it going to be like to live in air? Why are you asking me? I've only lived in Earth, just like everybody else that's alive now has. So we're all going through a lot of changes, and they're nothing we ought to be scared of. They've been looked at before, and we're going to be fine.
You just have faith. That was one of the other
Mhm.
big things to say is have faith. Have
Mhm.
faith. Have faith in the creator, the universe, whatever it is you want to call it. Have faith.
Mm-hmm. And talk to your guides. I get people who call me, and I know you do because I've watched your readings. Who's my guide? Where's my guide? And, you know, I made it to 69 without knowing what my guide's name was. And I went and met with Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, and I did a workshop of his. And in the workshop, we had a chance to go meet our guides. And I go, well, this is going to be a dud because I didn't, it. I was fine with the idea, but I never, and I was hypnotized, and I met her face to face, and her name's
Wow.
Abby. And I said, I hope you're not pissed that I have waited like 69 years to come talk to you. And she said, it's okay, honey. You did everything I told you to do. So, and having her as a person, a part of my life, has made my life so much better. And then I have a second major guide named Frank. And one day I was sitting there doing some just writing without looking at the page. And my question I asked was, who's my guide? And I wrote a big Frank. And then all of a sudden I just wrote out who he was, where he came from, and all the other stuff. And I knew how he fit in the picture. So, you know, I've been reading cards since I was 12, and I made it to 69 without knowing any of this. And a whole lot of you are going to be accelerating and learning this stuff faster. So,
Yeah, it's funny people wanting to know who their guides are. And just like you, I from childhood just knew I was different or was getting information, but I never asked or thought about who it was. It was just there. I didn't need to put a name or anything on it. But I think a lot of people like to have that comfort of knowing who or what it is, so they can, like, I guess, put a name, put an identity to it.
Converse with them.
Yeah, but you can still talk to them and get information without giving them an identity.
Oh yeah, no, they don't.
So don't feel like you have to have an identity to them. As you see, Nancy Jean just said she was 69 when she found out the names of at least one, right?
Both of them. I found them
For
both
both
the
of them.
same year.
And
it's nice for me. And maybe it's because I'm older and I don't like it. I hate text messaging and all that stuff. I like to talk.
yeah, it's a great thing to seek out, but you don't have to have a name to have the conversation or to get information. That will come when it's time. When it's time.
And you'll understand the message is real. And it's people say, well, how do you know it's not something you just made up out of your head? Because you know it's not something you made out of your head. It's a different kind of sense of consciousness.
Yes.
And that's what the blue light's going to be bringing in, and making other people be happier with that foundation for themselves.
I think, this time that's coming up, it's probably a bit easier for those of us who've already stepped into understanding psychicness and that kind of thing. But I still think it's going to blow our socks off too.
Oh yeah. Talking telepathically to I mean, what's like getting to know my dragon. And I was like, and they said, oh, you have to go on your show and talk about this now. And I'm like looking around the room like, y'all are nuts doing that. But I did. And I was happier for doing it. And it makes other things fall more in place.
Speaking your truth. This is the time. Speak your truth. You're going to feel good. You're going to be going with the flow. And like we said, no more hiding. The blue light's going to find everything.
Yep.
And all for the betterment of positive beings. And that's another thing. Keep your energy fields, your energy, field around you positive. And that comes with your thoughts, that comes with the food you eat, and that comes with the people around you. So if you're around negative people, that can like get into your negative or into your energy field, and you just want to stay positive. So try to have positive thoughts, try to eat as best you can, and stay around or in places that feel positive. And certainly nature is a great place to go. let's say you're in a home that's very negative, at least try to get out and have a walk in nature so that your energy field can rebalance itself.
Right. And, don't discount things like the violet flame and quick little prayers you can do to ask for protection, or ask them
Absolutely.
to sweep the negative energy away from you,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
or follow, if you're in the US, follow our president when he talks about certain people, he crosses himself, because that's a mode of protection. I don't know if you saw that. He was in a congresswoman's district who's a real flake, and he goes, well, I'm in da-da-da's district, and he went and you kind of said, yeah, that's really true, because after you listen to some of those people speak, you go like, and this isn't a political thing, but I mean, there's people who talk about all kinds of things that are stupid: medical information, political information, just how to run your life, how to cook food, what food works, and how, oh, you can't do that because your body will starve, and you're going, no. And you just kind of have to bless them and let them go on their way.
Yeah, and like you said, ask for protection. So if work is a negative environment for you, ask every day when you go into work. Ask for your energy field to stay positive.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't get drained or depleted, and negative doesn't get in. Just ask for a protective, positive energy field.
Yeah, I had a woman she's in a fantastic, I mean, what the company produces is fantastic, but everybody in the place is nuts. And so, well, they were. So she said, what can I do? I have to go there every day. And so I just made her a little 3x5 card of the violet flame, and she memorized it. They'd see her walking down the halls mumbling something. And then after she was in there, we talked about how she felt about the energy, and I suggested some crystals for her to bring in her office and put on her desk. And she noticed almost immediately that the people who made her really crazy didn't come in her office anymore.
That's right.
You can build your own little
energy fortress. Exactly. Exactly. Do what you need to do and stay positive. That, to me, that's the key. I'll say, is to stay positive.
And she wasn't wishing anybody else ill will.
No.
She's just saying, I can't.
Just don't get into my field of energy and ruin it. Like, don't deplete me. Like they say, energy vampires and all that kind of stuff. Like,
oh yeah, those folks are bad.
Yeah, like you want to stay positive. So if there's people bickering around you, doesn't affect you. If there's gossip going around the office, doesn't affect you.
Yeah, gossip is an extremely
negative
thing, because nobody's ever gossiping about somebody if it's something they wanted to say to their face, guys. Just think about it that way. And you just don't, when people come up to me, I'd go, I don't see it that way. And it's not, readers never gossip about other readers. You never have to say, well, I don't see it that way, right? That never happens. We're all such lovely, non-ego people.
We're perfect.
And if you don't get the irony in that conversation, you're missing something.
So yeah, it's just, this is an exciting time. This is for the history books, my friends, and we're part of it. So step into it on a positive note and have faith and see what happens. See what gifts awaken you and your loved ones and your friends. It's going to be amazing to watch. Like, I can't wait to see my family wake up. I'll be like, you're finally here. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, see, I raised my kids to be that way, and none of them wandered. So, but we are in a time of interconnectedness. There used to be a phrase when I was growing up: there's a lid for every pot. There's things that go together, and so there's been a lot of people who I never thought were ever going to find their lids. I think they're going to finally find their lids. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
Matched up with the right elements to make you complete.
Yes. I love it. Well put.
And so we've lit the blue candles for that very purpose. And I'm going to go back to, they've been flaming away here, and the universe has been hearing our conversation. And for people who want to know, how do I use this on my own at home? I've had people who don't have enough big tables to put 9 candles on it, but you can either do it that way or light a candle every day. But think about, when we're thinking about these kinds of interconnections, where do you feel like you want to be connected, or where do you want to be disconnected even more?
Mhm.
You know, I'm ready to let go of, because this is the season of letting go. We're going from a 7-year 2023, which was analytical, soul searching, figuring out where our place was. We're going to 2024, which is 8, which is abundance and change, and a whole sense of, I don't have to deep mind myself all the time. It's just here. And that's the other part, is to understand it's just here. It's like me meeting my guide, and she said, it's okay, you did everything I told you to do. You were right in the pattern. You didn't have to be conscious of it. Well, y'all can do the same thing. So we're going to blow out the candles now. Remember to do this, guys, because if you don't, underneath this beautiful blue cloth is a big brown spot where my desk started on fire once. So blow them out every night. See, we're not perfect. We're just readers.
Your table is a beautiful setup. It looks lovely with
Yeah,
the candles and the
yeah,
stone.
and I'm not doing it on the old dirty pizza stone. People say, "Oh, where'd you get that marvelous thing for you?" It's a pizza stone.
It's nice. It's
But
beautiful.
this is his Lazy Susan. So I
Lazy
can,
Susans are great.
yeah, and I'll figure out a way to use it otherwise. But anyway, thank you for wandering down from the cold north.
Thank you for having me. This was
And
awesome.
we'll see you tomorrow night at the same time at a premiere. And it will be Miss Sheila from Celtic Tarot. So say goodbye.